This is a fairly short video, not about how to use climbing spurs, but about some of the factors that can influence how easy it is to climb with them and some of the complications that can develop. This is close to the upper limit of the ideal size for what you want as a trunk. I'd say that from 12 to 18 inches, maybe up to 2 feet is about the ideal size limit. If you get smaller than that, then it becomes difficult to maintain your balance because your spurs have to be so close in. If they get larger than this, then you have problems because you can't really see around to get to branches that may be impeding your progress on the other side, and you have to work your way around to get to those branches. If you get really large, like some of the 5 and 6 foot big trees out west, then you can no longer just flip up your line. You have to go to some kind of a roll to throw your rope to get it up higher, and that is a whole nother level of climbing. So this is about as big as I want to go to make it easy to climb. I'm curious about finding my limits as a new climber, and unfortunately that turns out not to be a very long journey in most cases. I'm just going up to cut off some of the very lowest branches, so take it for granted there's a lot of safety equipment that I'm not taking with me. Hard hat, backup lanyard, and climbing line. We'll just demonstrate going up and doing a manual cut. Okay, so we'll get this branch first, and we'll get this one. Now, at the moment, that's all I can see in front of me, so if I now try to go up, I encounter something that's blocking my flip line. So I now have to get over there to find out what it is and take care of that obstruction. Okay, so that's just how you have to take all of the obstructions out to make progress. And on a big tree, that gets to be a real problem when you have to go around something large diameter. When you're spiking into a tree of reasonable diameter, one of the things I like is you don't just spike in, but you can actually rotate your foot so that you're providing some twisting stability. You're still spiked in, but now your foot is braced against the tree, and that's a little bit more stable than just simply being supported on the tip of the spike that's in the tree. So that provides some stability. That works fine as long as you're on a medium to large diameter tree. On a small diameter tree, you just don't have that luxury. You spike in, and now if you try to rotate, your spike is not really into the tree, it's almost parallel to the tree, and that really, or tangent to the tree, and that really increases the risk of gaffing out because you're no longer in, you're sort of across the grain. So on a small diameter tree, you are forced to really pivot about that one point where your spike is in the tree, and that makes it much trickier to try and control where you're standing, how you're balancing, because you're really on just a couple of points and they have to be fairly close together because of the narrowness of the stem. Here's one of the northern white pines that are fairly common around here. This one's just at or a tiny bit over a 2-foot diameter, and that's where it starts, as far as I'm concerned, being a little bit more annoying to climb. In our area, most of the hardwoods that are grown in competition with other trees will shed their lower branches as they grow. With the pine trees, their lower branches will die, but they don't shed them completely, if at all. So you very often have stubs that are sticking out, and those can make it difficult to advance your climbing line. So for instance, in this case, oops, we'll start going up. And now I've come into some kind of an obstruction, and I can't really see around the tree to find out what it is, so I have to go there to investigate. So I have to work my way around the tree. And remove the obstruction. Even though I'm actually past it already. But you can see if I have to do this as I go up the tree, that becomes a major hassle with a large diameter tree. On the other extreme, I've got this 8-inch beech tree, and it's in an area that I'm clearing so that I can have a view to the west. Ordinarily I just simply cut it down or take it out by the stump, but for a climbing experience, an opportunity to improve my practice, I'm going to climb it. Since it's so narrow, it's going to be challenging to keep my lateral balance on something this narrow. To compensate, I'm going to put a climbing line up in the top of the tree and use that as a safety line so that if I do fall one way or the other, I'll not fall down. The tree itself is a little bit interesting. About 10 years ago I'd done clearing over to the right, so almost all of its branches sought out that light, and just about every one of them is growing over towards the right. Up at about 35 feet there near the top, that's where my climbing line will go in. But I'm going to preserve each of these branches on the right side as a stepping stone. I'll cut them off maybe a foot or so from the trunk. I'll cut off everything on the left side as I go up, so that if I need to get down in a hurry, I can kick to that side and have a straight shot to rappel down to the ground. This beech tree has a pretty good lean in that direction, so I'll be climbing up this side so that I'm already hanging away and not trying to go up this side and risk falling around either direction. As I go up, I'll be taking the limbs off on this side and shortening them to long stubs on this side so that I can have something to grab on to help me from falling one direction or the other laterally.